Hi, my name is Rebecca, and this is my first book video, and it is actually my first book outlet book haul. So I got 20 books. It was the Boxing Day sale, day after Christmas, and I kind of splurged a little bit. So let's get started. My first book is A House of Night novella. I have most of the series, but I don't know, I haven't read any, so I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's Nefert's Curse, maybe? It's by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. And I think I'm only missing Lenobia's Vow and a couple of the books from the series. I do not like reading a series without having all the books in the series, unless it's a brand new series that I just have to have and have to read. So I haven't started reading these yet, but this is adding to be able to start reading those. My second book is also the same way. It's Delirium Stories by Lauren Oliver, and I do not have books yet, but I wanted to get this so I could read the books. And then I have Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi, and I have the first book. This is the second one, and I don't have the third one yet, so hope to get the third one so I can stick on this series. And my next one is Thirst, the Sacred Veil. It's number 5, and it's by Christopher Pike, which I absolutely loved Christopher Pike whenever I was growing up. And I just now finally got the 5th book in this series, so I'm hoping to get started on this. My next book is Infamous from the Chronicles of Nick series by Sherilyn Kenyon. And I've read some of her other books, and I started collecting this series so I could start reading it, and I know that there's supposed to be a new book out in March, I think, but I don't know which one this is in the series, but it's the only one that's been released already that I didn't have, so I picked this one up. My next 2 books are Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green, and they're books 2 and 3. Yeah, 2 and 3 in the Ruby Red trilogy by Kirsten Gear. And I don't have the first book, so I can't start it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about these, so whenever I saw them on sale, I had to get them. And the next 3 books I have are Lullaby, Title, and Elegy by Amanda Hocking. They're the books 2, 3, and 4 from the Water Song series. They didn't have Wake, so I couldn't get it. And I've heard about these before, but I don't really know what they're about. I have Wake on order on eBay, so hopefully I'll be able to get started on this soon. Because I heard that they were good, but I haven't really heard what they're about. And since I don't have the first one, I don't want to read the backs of these. The next one I got was an accidental purchase. It is Fever, the second book in the Chemical Garden trilogy by Lauren DeStefano. And it's an accidental purchase because I actually already own this book. I knew that I'd looked at it and I was wanting to get it, but I forgot that I actually did purchase it. But it was really cheap, so maybe one of my friends that are interested in the series, this might go to them. My next book is Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Paterson. And I've seen the movie. I love the movie. I wanted to read the book just because if I find out that a movie is based on a book, I always want to read the book because the book's usually better than the movie. So yeah, it was like $1.50 or something like that, so it was really cheap. The next one I got is Romeo and Juliet and Vampires. And it's adapted by Claudia Gabel, which I've heard of her before. I've heard a lot of good things about her, and I love Romeo and Juliet. I had to read this back in middle school, but whenever I found out that we had to read it, I got it and I already started reading it before we even had to for school, and I loved it. I love William Shakespeare, but Romeo and Juliet especially is one of my favorites, and I just think it'll be neat to see how it's adapted to include vampires, because I like vampires too. So the next one I have is Speak by Lori Halse Anderson, I guess. And mainly I got it because the cover looks really cool. And I don't know, I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't like hearing a lot about books before I read them. Just like maybe a slight overview of what the main points are. And the back of this says, I am outcast, and I don't know, I was an outcast in school, so I think this might be intriguing. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So the next one is another Christopher Pike. It's Chain Letter, and I have honestly not really heard anything about this. Just the fact that it's a Christopher Pike book is kind of what sold me on it, and it was really cheap. Of course, Book Outlet, it's really cheap prices there. But yeah, Christopher Pike, one of my favorite authors growing up, so kind of getting back into his stuff. The next one I got actually came a little damaged, like the corner there's bent, but it's Out of Reach by Carrie Arcos, and it's about a girl whose brother struggles with addiction, and it was a National Book Award finalist, so I thought it would just be interesting. And the next one is Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. And again, this one, I saw the movie, I found out that the movie was based on a book, and so I had to get it. I'm not sure if I'm going to read this right away because I know that there is a second book to go along with this. I don't know if it's just like a companion novel or if they're a duology or what it is, but I really enjoyed the movie, so I had to get the book and check it out. And the next one is The Pretty One by Cheryl Clam. Or Clam? I don't know. Anyway, I actually mainly got this book because I had watched a movie on TV that was called The Pretty One, and I know this isn't the same story, but it seems to have like a similar story but a different take on it. I'm not sure how to describe it. I don't want to read the whole synopsis, and I'm not sure. There's like a red mark. You see that? Red mark there. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. It almost looks like somebody got cut on my book. It's a little disturbing. The next one I have is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Roll, I think is how people say it. I have heard tons of good things about this author, and I heard a lot of good things about this book, so I had to get it. I want to get more by her, mainly in Landline, and that's actually on their site right now, so I'm trying to stay away from putting in another order because I have another one coming actually. This upcoming Tuesday I'm supposed to get another order in the mail. It's very bad, I know. But yeah, so I got this one. I was hoping that Landline would be on there, but it wasn't whenever I was on there. And the next book I have is Purity by Jackson Pierce, and I love this author. I've read As You Wish, Sweetly, and Sisters Red. I have Fathomless and Cold Spell. I haven't read them yet, but I love this author. She's one of my favorite authors right now, and whenever I saw this was on the site, I had to get it. And now the next book I have, that's everything I have for my book outlet order, but the next book I have was actually a pre-order that I purchased from a convention, Geek Galaxy Comic Con, in a town nearby, and I had a booth. I knit and I crochet and I sell stuff at a booth, usually at conventions, and I was sitting next to the author, and of course, me being a book junkie, I had to get the books. So this is the third book in her Colorworld series. This is Lumaworld, Rachel E. Kelly, and oh my goodness, she is so sweet. Her books are amazing. She's an indie author, so she has some books on Amazon, but she's mainly on like a little site out there that most people wouldn't really know about. But Colorworld is about a girl who has superpowers, and it's like she has a nut allergy and she's diabetic, and she's raising her brother since her mother died, and she needs money, so she goes to this place who's supposed to help her with her allergies, help her with the diabetes, and it's this stuff called energy therapy is what it is. And come to find out is they did not want to do anything with her allergies, but her allergies made it where they could manipulate her energy and give her superpowers. And before she went there, she could touch people and she could feel what they were feeling when she touched them. Now, when she touches them, she kills them. So this is a very interesting series. I can't really say more than that without kind of ruining the books. But yeah, girl with superpowers, company who's trying to create people with superpowers, and this is book 3. There's supposed to be 7 in the series, and I've already talked to her about pre-ordering the final 4 books. So I am really excited about this. I'm currently reading the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm on the 4th book out of 5, so this is the next book that I'm reading after I get finished with that. As I said, if I find a series that I just absolutely cannot not read, this is one of those series. I read the books as soon as I get them. This is one series that I am not waiting for the books to come out before I start reading them. I have to read this. So, well, that's the last of my book haul, and I guess I will have another one coming up soon. So I'll see you then, or if I decide to do a review of the Lux series, maybe. So, bye!